Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen, the numbers do not deceive you. 203 million in market volume in the last 24 hours. And we also have 212 million in market cap. Ladies and gentlemen, Turbo has been on a huge rise over the last couple of days. We can see within the last week, we were all the way down at 0.001728, and we are almost in the 0.003s. Okay, we are actually in fact in the 0.003. So exciting times. Let me tell you that, ladies and gentlemen, huge burst, right? Huge burst. Today we are currently up 40%. At one point, we were up even 50%. We were talking about, how there might be a little bit of a pullback around these areas. And technically speaking, for 4 hours there was, but there was just so much momentum for Turbo, and I guess even Bitcoin itself, because Bitcoin right now is at $91,250, which we did talk about how we will most likely be looking to push back into this area of roughly $92,000 to $93,000. And we can see Turbo followed along. Like if I even just pull out some of the coins that we follow on the channel consistently, you can see, right? Some coins are up 5%, 6%, 8, 9%. And Turbo, like I said, at this current moment, up 40%. It is looking really good. All right. It is looking actually way better than I expected. I mean, this was inevitable, but did I think it was all going to happen today in one day? No, I thought it might take a week or a little bit longer, maybe even a little bit shorter, but I did not think it was going to happen in a day. I will say, though, there is an institutional daily order block candle right over here, which we are tapping into. So if there is a little bit of a pullback, it is normal, right? We can't literally just go up 10,000% just in a day, in a week, or in a month. We do have to have little pullbacks in the middle, but don't worry, it is all super healthy. Yes, at this point, I can confirm that we have broken structure. And ladies and gentlemen, we have not only done it, but we have completely confirmed the shift in momentum. Unless something would happen over the next few days where Turbo and just in general the market would tank all the way back down to these levels of 0.002, then that would technically create a lower high, right? Because we have these highs over here, and if we close somehow here, then obviously that would technically be a lower high. But that's not the way I view the markets. That's not how the markets work. For me, if there is going to be a maximum pullback, it actually should be in this area, right? Because we have multiple daily candles. So, a little bit of rejection here is normal. We could even potentially see a little bit of pullback here, but then we will continue. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the thing that's super exciting is that we are pretty much trying to reclaim this crucial area, right? This crucial area right over here, roughly, right, of 0.033, a little bit higher, a little bit lower, is very important, right? Because this is the biggest support and resistance that we have on this whole entire chart. And then the second one is probably somewhere up here, okay? But this first green box is way more important. I said before, and I'll say it again, once we do go above this green box and then we start respecting it, then it's like 100% confirmed that there's no reason we should ever come back down to these levels unless it would be something like bear season. Okay, so we had smaller confirmations on the daily chart, on the 4-hour chart. We're getting more and more reversal signs, but I know some people love so many confirmations, and I get it. Look, that's part of the game. Some people play it safer, some people don't. And like once again, the most safest confirmation is once we will be above this green box and we will start, retesting off, right? We go above it like this, more or less, and then we push up. Let me tell you something. Once we confirm this green box and we respect it, which we will climb super fast back up to 0.007. Okay, because there's so much imbalance. There's such a big lack of support and resistance up until 0.0074 area that we should honestly kind of hit that price zone fairly quick, right? It could happen within a month, it could happen within 2 weeks, but that's still very, very quick, right? If Turbo from this zone went up another 145% within a 2 to 3 to 4 week span after we confirm that we like and we are supporting this green box, then you know, a couple weeks to go back up here is not bad at all, right? And the crazy thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we are making moves while Bitcoin dominance is still very, very high. Remember, okay, when Turbo was at its peak, Bitcoin dominance was way lower, right? It was way, way, way lower. If we actually see Turbo's peak, Turbo peaked technically the beginning 9th of December, that week, right? So early December, early December. And if we go to the dominance, we can actually see it was when the dominance was somewhere around 55%. And yes, of course, we're still nowhere near back to that price, but we are skyrocketing while dominance is going up, which is good. We still want dominance to be going up because we do want to inevitably have altcoin season, right? Which is, cash out somewhere from this area, right? Go up to this area, crash, probably go sideways the way we did here, and then go down, 25, 35, 40% and come back to these levels somewhere down here. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, once that's happening, Turbo and every other coin that you hold, unless it's completely poo, will be skyrocketing. So very, very exciting times, very, very exciting times. You also have to remember that Bitcoin will most likely be making new highs, right? So we have highs of $109,000, and we most likely, in my opinion, will be going from the 20s to maybe the 40s at most. I know it's kind of a big range, but that is just based off my prediction. Obviously, we will have to see in the moment, and we'll have to prepare, right? There's certain indications and ways to prepare, and we will make sure we do that. But going back to Turbo, right? Super, super big. And guys, nothing happened in terms of news. Literally nothing happened in terms of news. Your regular posts are still here, right? There's no even new news for this to have, gone up so high. I just know Turbo is going to be a top 10. People see it. We talked about Coinbase, Binance, and other exchanges literally buying Turbo token when it was at its bottoms, people, right? Follow the money. If they're buying at the bottoms, you should be too. Obviously, everyone has a different financial, circumstance, goal, and etc. But I mean, you just literally got to follow the money and you will make money. Look, in terms of holders, we're actually down one from the all-time high, which is crazy, right? Maybe some people cashed out. Maybe some people think this is it. For me, this is just the start of the roller coaster once again. I will say, though, next time we do have something like this where we will be dumping because it is inevitable, right? That probably would be the bear season. So we have to prepare, right? We have to prepare. As of right now, we're not really going to worry about it, right? Turbo is going to do what it has to do, right? I am just drawing this up to whatever type of price is going to do something similar, and then eventually it's going to crash. But that time, it's not going to recover the same way it did. Maybe if there's a double pump, it might recover a little bit before it sells off completely for bear season. So look, listen, people, I'm super excited. I hope you guys are too. I cannot wait for what's going to happen. Robinhood, there's no way we're not going to listen on Robinhood. Listen, thing with trading, thing with crypto, with things in other life, you sometimes have to be 1 or 2 steps ahead, even 3 steps ahead. And that sometimes requires a little bit of vision, a little bit of faith, and, relying on probability. I believe we will be listed on Robinhood personally. I believe that months ago. And yeah, that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Remember Turbo, right? We've seen this before where Turbo was at a low price at that relative time. And within a couple of weeks, it can create new highs. So once again, right? Don't expect, don't be surprised if this coin within 2 months is back up to these levels, right? Which is not a long, 2 months is not a long time. You got to remember, 2 months from now, we could be at these highs, and then 6 months from now, we could be at whatever all-time highs we get to, right? So listen, crazy, crazy times ahead. Super, super stoked. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you want a portfolio review, make sure to join the community. But yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.